ever considered a sled for your table saw? For cross-cutting, miters, tenons, bridle joints, etc. Absolutely brilliant they are. Especially if you've got a dado cutter installed. But not just that, no. I've been building louver shutters, and in some previous videos I was going through, how to put it, a bit of an experimental stage to create these slots in the louvers, to take the louvers, you see. Now, I made that jig there to create the slots using a router, and although it works, you get a lot of breakout, and it's a bit messy. And also, you get a lot of fatigue on your hands, the arms and stuff, you know, it's like a router. It can be, yeah, repetitive and hard work. Well, it makes sense to have something a little bit easier, a little bit more productive with less breakout. So I created a sled. Now, in a previous video, I showed you this sled. And I was going through a bit of an experimental stage with pins and stuff like that, which didn't really work. And I came up with this solution instead, which is basically a registry key that goes in there, right? And I will need to make one in the opposite direction as well, because with a louver shutter, you've got a right-hand side and a left-hand side style with slots in, going in different directions, you see. And they've got to marry up. So if I just show you the process of creating the slots in one of my styles. Now, there are pairs of shutters, so there's two right-hand sides and there's two left-hand sides, as far as the styles are concerned. And I'm creating the two left-hand sides. I think they're left anyway, it doesn't really matter, but anyway. So I've done this one here, and there is a little bit of fluffiness on the cut, but that's nothing. It's not actually causing any problems. I could just sand that off. But what I'll probably end up doing is just running a hand plane over the whole lot, and I'll just take off all this fluff. Can't really do a lot about that. But there's no breakout at all. Whereas on the router jig, I was getting like lumps coming out here, you see, because there's not much material there, especially on the softwood. Wherever there was grain, there's this breaking away where the grain is. And the same thing was happening on the other side. So you're having to like glue these little bits back in. It's just tedious. But this works. Let me show you. All right. I'll plonk this over here, put it back in its slot. You've got to put your wood in the slot, you know. Yeah, that's what the missus said. So get in the slot there. It's in the slot. Let's move this out of the way because it's going to get in the way. Because you have to start from one end. And every single style has to be started from the same position. Otherwise, it will go out of sync on the other styles. So if you flip them around, you might end up putting your louvers in the wrong place, you see. So you always work from one direction. In this case, I'm working from the top. Now, what I've done is I've placed this one here against my other piece of stock, like so. I've then grabbed a square and put two little marks on where the actual louver starts. Yeah, the slot starts here. So I put like one mark there, and then I've made this little guide right, for right and left hand side. And all I have to do is, because these two little wings on there, they're the same thickness of the actual louver itself, and I can place it on there, and then I can put a line either each side of this piece of wood, you know, I've got on the guide, and I can do that wherever I need to go, and then I can mark the face of the actual start point here and there. As you see, what I've done here, right? Two little marks there, that's what I'm going to start, and then I'm basically going to use the registry key on my sled to do all the other ones until I get to this one here, and then that's where mid rail is, and then I'm going to then start again until I get to the bottom rail here. That's the plan. So far, it's worked out pretty well. I've already done one set over there. So anyway, should we get to it? I think we should. All right, so first things first, we're going to be working from this end, which is the top. It's going to have to come on that direction, all right? But the first cut we have to make freehand. Well, with a sled, but we just have to go by the marks you put on, all right? Because you need your first one so you can actually put your little registry key into, and then you do that on each individual one after that. So far, it seems pretty accurate in that there is no there's no significant accumulative error, not in that distance anyway, pretty much none. So what we're going to do is we'll make our first cut, right? Now because there's a slot in here already, if I show you, okay, you see that wide slot? That is the width of the dado cutter. And because that's the width of the dado cutter, all I've got here for my registry, for my first one, where I put my two marks there, I've just got to line them up, okay, with that slot, which is basically there, okay? And that's the first one I've got to do. So I'm going to turn the saw on. Obviously, make sure you've got all your safety devices and your guards. Yeah, okay, an arriving knife for a dado head. No, you don't need that. You don't need that, though. Anyway, especially not for dado. So I'm in my slot. Making the first cut, making sure I'm lined up. I am. Squeezing it to the fence. Nice and easily, I make my first cut. Okay? Got my first cut. Alright? Yeah, I'm checking it's in the right place. Spot on. Now, I can put in my little registry key here. I place that in that slot. I'll show you like that. Okay? And then the slot I've just created, get that back in the hole, yeah, the one I've just created, then slips on top of that registry key, and I squeeze it up to the fence, and then I can just make my cut. Nice and easy. Don't go like a mad thing, because you're more risk of getting breakout. Then I lift it up, push it along, slide it on top of the registry key, make another cut. Now literally just keep doing that. It's so much quicker than using a router jig. It really is. And I'm not having to glue little bits of wood back in that are chipped out. That's so easy to align, because basically what you do is you lift it up, okay, just a little bit like that. So you just ride over the little key, that registry key, and then it just drops into place like so. It's just so easy. I do want to create more safety whatsits on here, I suppose, and maybe a handle or something quite good. Or would it really? No. Well, it's fine. It's fine as it is, really. It just drops on top there like that. This piece here protects the, you know, it's like a guard, effectively. I could do with something on the back edge, really. Like so. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you a bit closer. I'm not editing this video, so I do apologise for that. Can it go there? I want you to be able to see what's going on. My tripod's going to be in the way in a minute. My hand's out of the way, so just basically just going to lift it up and slide it until it just drops into place like so. Let's bring you over here. Lift it up. Bring it across, and it just drops on like that. There's two more on the top section. That's the last one now. And my marks are lining up nicely. Now the next one, I'll take the registry key out. Make sure the blade, you know, the dado's not in the way. This is set to 1/2 inch at the moment. The first one, I just line up my little marks. See there? With the slot. Am I making you dizzy? That's where it needs some protection there. I need to put a guard there. Just a piece of wood like that piece. Now I need to put the key in. There you go. No breakout at all. Like I say, get a bit of fluffiness on here, but that's nothing. It's not actually splintered. It's just, I think, see if I just move it that way. Bit of sandpaper on there, on the pad, and it'll be gone. So, I think the sled is a success. And I'm going to carry on using it instead of this rotor jig that I made. And I put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and it was not as good as this sled, which didn't take very long at all to make. Took long to work out how to make it work, but now I've actually made it, it's blooming obvious now. So yeah, it's very simple. Sled, 45 degrees, and what I'll do is I'll either make a second one of these at 45 degrees, so make it a bit easier, or I'll make it so this fence just can be turned around. So basically it goes in the opposite direction, be going 45 in the opposite direction for the, so you got, basically it becomes a universal for the right and the left hand side, and it does. Anyway, wish me luck. Please put a like button, maybe subscribe to the channel, and then you get a 153 in your pocket every time I upload another video. Toodaloo!